Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, you are listening to the most electrifying podcast in all of internet radio today. You are listening to the Sports Wire. My name is Vinny Apicella, and I am here with you. It is currently about 3:17 a.m. on Friday morning, which means it's technically the Thursday episode. But either way, it's October 24th, 2019, and we are here with, 5 days in a row, right? Fifth day of our daily episodes, and I want to thank you all for downloading and listening as we move to our new platform on Anchor.fm. But I want to thank you all for definitely subscribing and listening, and definitely go on to wherever you find your favorite podcasts, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, Radio Public, and the like. And quite honestly, we are here, and what do we got to talk about today? Well, you know what? There's a lot to talk about today. First off, for those of you that have listened to the Sports Wire in the past, I do watch General Hospital. And I know, with all the wrestling that's on TV now and the sports and everything, how do I have time? Well, here's the deal. I like General Hospital because of the drama of the show. Been watching it for close to 10, 12 years now, and it's the second longest running soap opera. You know, it's been around for over 55 years, and quite honestly, with the amount of talent that's on there, and actually, you know, there was a crossover. David Otunga did guest star on a couple episodes a couple years ago, and it was a great time had by all. Anywho, there was something on there today. Currently, there's a storyline that's involving a person that had their memory erased and replaced with somebody else's memory. Yeah, I know, it's science fiction. The backstory is that there was a memory mapping program. There's one of the main characters on there, Jason Morgan, who happens to be his nickname is Stone Cold. He had left the show for a number of years, and they had signed somebody to come back to play him, and they basically recast. So when Steve Burton, who plays Jason Morgan, was ready to come back, they had, we can't have two Jason Morgans, because they already had Billy Miller playing Jason Morgan. Well, they concocted a basic science fiction storyline saying that Billy Miller's character, who thought he was Jason Morgan, it was actually Jason Morgan's unknown, long-lost twin brother, Andrew Kane. And Andrew was a Navy SEAL, and he was kidnapped while he was deployed in Afghanistan, brought to supervillain Helena Cassadine, who had a doctor perform this memory mapping transplant to put Jason's memories into Andrew, and send Andrew back as Jason to so that she could brainwash him and carry out her bidding in Jason's hometown of Port Charles. Fast forward a couple years, Jason comes back. Okay, and the reason why nobody recognized Drew as Jason, being twin brothers, because of course it was a different character, so they had to say that he was in a bad accident and had to have a huge facial reconstruction. So, you know, it's a soap opera. But anyways, the whole point is that Drew's original memories. Now, when Drew had come to Port Charles in General Hospital land, that he had Jason's memories, so he thought he was Jason. All of his memories were wiped out. They were put on a flash drive, like a flash drive, So they, so when Jason actually came back and he escaped his captors, because Helena had wanted him killed, but his captor had wanted to keep him alive in the, so that Jason could kill his father. Long story. That's another backstory. Everything weaves itself into different storylines. Anyways, with that being said, when Jason came back, they set up this plot line. So they figured out that the guy that was in Port Charles was Drew, and Jason was Jason. So then they figured out that there was a flash drive that held, Drew's memories on it. Anyways, enter Franco. So the gentleman that helped to capture Drew in Afghanistan had the flash drive with Drew's memories on him. And he and Drew had a tumultuous relationship in Afghanistan. Well, when he found out that the real Drew didn't remember anything from his past, and he came across the flash drive, he figured he would put the flash drive memories, Drew's memories, into somebody else. Turns out to be that they were going to give it to a kid, Cameron, and Cameron's stepfather, Franco, finds him and says, no, do it to me instead. So they give the flash drive memories to Franco, erasing Franco's memory and replacing it with Drew's. Okay, you following me here so far? Anyways, so now, fast forward a couple of months while Franco thinks he's Drew, because that's the memories that he has. Okay, so now they're at a trial because Elizabeth, who is Franco's wife, wants to get the doctor to perform the procedure to reverse the memory mapping so that Franco could have his memories back and therefore get rid of Drew, because Franco thinks he's Drew. Therefore, he doesn't remember anything of Franco's life. Doesn't remember his wife, doesn't remember her kids. All he remembers is his previous life. So with that being said, he, is not of sound mind. Anyways, during the trial, Drew and Jason's, I would say stepmother, because their father cheated on his wife to have them. So that they're, so their father's wife is not their mother. So stepmother, I guess. Dr. Monica Quartermain. Quartermains have been around for years. Her character's been on the show for years. She's the chief of staff at General Hospital, meaning she's a doctor. She's a cardiologist, I believe, but doctor nonetheless. She made a quote, and I did post it on Twitter, but she had a quote on today's show that said, DNA, and now this coming from a doctor, okay? She said, DNA makes us human, but it's our mind who makes us who we are. And the significance of that statement, while it may seem, just, to do with the storyline, it is a huge political statement. And I am tired of television shows and everything getting involved in politics. And I get it that, they do a lot with pop culture and they bring awareness to, certain true lifestyle, certain true life circumstances like cancer and, childhood health scares and the like. I get it. And they do. And they're a huge proponent of the, which they haven't done it this year, but they're a huge proponent of the Shriners hospitals, and because they're from upper state New York, they do tend to, promote the Shriners Hospital in Boston. Great job, great stuff. I get it. However, I am tired of always having something thrown down our throats of the liberal agenda. Just this past week, I put out a show about the word homophobia and how it's mislabeled and misused. Well, here's the problem. There's that whole thing about transgenderism and, people can live how they feel and this and that. Okay, so this quote was huge in that political mindset because of the simple fact that they're saying in not so many words, well, if you think you're a woman, but you were born a man, you can be a woman. You can live that way because it's in your mind. That's how you feel, which is completely bullshit. If you are born a man, if you have a penis and testicles, You are a male through and through, and you live that way. If you choose to change your sex and go through the surgery, then you can live as a female because you changed your biology. But the fact that you were still born a male, like, here's the deal. I have no problem with people doing that. What I have a problem with is this whole society saying, okay, well, you may have all the equipment as a man, but if you feel like a woman, you can live that way. You can use a women's restroom. You can use this. You can do that. First of all, they've been doing it for years without anybody questioning it. It's just because it was brought to the limelight. And now, and the other thing I will say is that people who are transgendered, okay, they're not pedophiles, they're not sex offenders, they're not child molesters or somebody, you know. Now, granted, I'm sure there are some men who are doing it just to be perverts and be creeps. I get it. There probably are. But I'm saying for the majority. With that being said, the biggest problem I have is now being that I work for the Sports Wire, and this show is called the Sports Wire. The biggest problem I have is trans women, men who were people who were born as men but choose to live their life as a woman, or get the actual surgery to become women, okay, competing in sports, sporting events, because they have an advantage, an unfair advantage over real women. Okay, and it was just shown this past week. I believe it was a trans woman, a man who believes he's a woman, won or had the surgery. I don't know the full story. Won a race, a female race, a female event. Okay, and to me that's not right. Okay, that's not right at all, because the simple fact is, men's bodies, regardless of all the estrogens you could take and all the hormones you could take, male bodies are born to withstand more strength and more muscles and with a more muscular build. Look at Nyla Rose, okay, AEW superstar. I have no problem. Now here's where it gets dicey. Professional wrestling, sports entertainment is predetermined, okay? Having her in there with women, I have no problem with because of that, because predetermined, okay? It's like acting. I get it, okay? Choreography, that part I don't mind, okay? But having her lose to a woman like Riho, who is 98 pounds, okay, and Nyla Rose is, I would say, probably around the 200-pound mark, simply because she was born a man, okay, so she has a bigger, more muscular build, which means she's probably heavier, denser bones, and all that kind of stuff. I have a problem with having her lose to Riho, okay? Give her the title, build her up. She's unbeatable until somebody like an Awesome Kong can challenge her. Awesome Kong being another bigger woman, kind of like China used to be. Or, you know what I mean? Someone who's believable to be able to win that kind of a match. Okay? Nia Jax, for example. I put up a poll who would win in the match, Nia Jax and Nyla Rose. Nyla Rose ended up winning. Okay. So the fact that I say is this, okay? I don't have a problem with somebody who wants to change their sex, who wants whatever. Like I said before, that's between you and God. And that's your choice. You choose what you want to do. However, okay, you should be disqualified from any kind of sporting event. And it goes the same way for a woman who wants to become a man. They shouldn't be able to compete in male athletics either, because they're at an unfair disadvantage because they were born a woman. And they don't have the bone structure or the bone density to compete with an actual man, and that's all there is to it. And that's the truth, and that's scientific. So here's the deal. Hollywood, stop trying to force the liberal agenda down people's throats. because it's not right. It's not true. And quite honestly, it makes people want to stop watching your shows. Okay, the other thing I want to talk about is AEW Dynamite. I finally got a chance to watch it, and I'll just give a quick recap on it. Okay, and we're back on the Sports Wire. Again, my name is Vinny Apicella. Thank you for choosing to download tonight's episode and listen to it. Thank you for subscribing. Definitely go on to Apple Podcasts and hit that subscribe button, as well as leave us a 5-star review, because quite honestly, I want to make sure that I'm giving you guys what you want to hear. Okay, now, I did want to go over AEW Dynamite. Okay, I finally got a chance to watch it, and I have to say the funniest part of the show. Now, I can't stand the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, any of those guys, okay? But I have to say the absolute best part of the show was when the Young Bucks super kicked Orange Cassidy right out of the ring, knocked the glasses off his head after he did those ridiculous phony shin kicks. But with that said, that was hilarious. I have not watched NXT yet. I'm going to watch that tomorrow. And I will talk about NXT tomorrow night. And I'll probably be able to talk about SmackDown tomorrow night too. But the fact is, or maybe I'll watch SmackDown Saturday. Well, either way. The fact is, I like what they're doing with Jericho and Cody. I like the Inner Circle versus Cody's friends or the Rhodes family. I'm waiting for the time where MJF is going to turn on Cody. Because for all intents and purposes, MJF is a heel. They're kind of breaking that fourth wall kayfabe of, a heel being best friends with these baby faces. So, and I get it. You could be friends with who you want, even if they're an asshole. But, with that said, I like where they're going with it. I really do. I liked seeing that brawl in the stands. Jake Hager wasn't there, but it kind of shows that the Inner Circle aren't as strong without Jake Hager. And the fact is Jake Hager will be back. So who's going to be the fifth member of the Rhodes, the Rhodes squad? Will it be Adam Page? Which could be. It could be. Adam Page could square off with Sammy Guevara. They had DDP in there, which Diamond Dallas Page is a WWE Hall of Famer. He's, he's got the DDP yoga, DDPY, okay, and he's a legend, and he's still in fantastic shape for being 60 years older or older. But, quite honestly, he's, getting up there in age. Who's he going to put over? Or because surely they're not going to put Paige over, maybe they'll have Paige put Guevara over, the old generation versus the new generation, or whatever the case is. But I do like how that's shaping up. The match at Full Gear between Cody and Jericho is going to be off the chain, and I say that with complete honesty. I really enjoy seeing Jericho in AEW, and I do like where they're going with Cody. Hangman Page is a great athlete as well. I like him. Obviously, Dustin Rhodes is fantastic. I like what they're doing with the Inner Circle. Jake Hager is a undefeated MMA fighter. His next match is coming up this Saturday, actually in Connecticut at Mohegan Sun. So definitely go check it out if you're in the area and have tickets or can get tickets. And then he'll be back and be able to wrestle actually for AEW after this fight. I guess that was kind of worked into his contract. But, I like seeing Jake Hager there. I like what they're doing with the entire Inner Circle. I'm waiting to see how they're going to spin out MJF out of it. I like Santana and Ortiz. I never really watched them in Impact because I never really watch Impact. So, I don't think many people watch Impact. Although, now they're on Access, they're a little bit more how shall we say, they're a little bit more accessible. Sorry, but it's the truth. Before they were on like the Pursuit Channel. Whoever gets a Pursuit Channel or Pop or wherever. But the fact is now they're on Access on Tuesday night, easy to watch them. So I like where they're going. I like AEW where they're going. I'm not too, Kenny Omega versus Joey Janela this week was really good. I have to say that. For as much crap as Joey Janela gets, and even Kenny Omega, the athleticism is there. You don't have to be a fully trained wrestler to compete in wrestling. We've seen that with a guy like Floyd Mayweather. We've seen it with Cain Velasquez. We're going to see it with Velasquez. We're going to see it with Tyson Fury. We've seen it in the past with, David Arquette or, Dennis Rodman, Karl Malone. You don't have to be a seasoned wrestler. Now, with that said, I'm waiting to see where they go with it. I did not watch their dark match or lights out unsanctioned match. I don't watch AEW Dark probably because if I watch it, I'll get a bad taste in my mouth from AEW, and I probably won't want to watch Dynamite because they do a lot more of the indie garbage on AEW Dark. Now, I might end up watching this past week's episode just because Taz was on commentary, and we'll take it from there. If I do watch it, I'll report on it, but I'm not really skeptical about it. Anyways, that's my report for today. I hope you enjoyed the episode. For those of you who don't watch General Hospital, you probably should. I know it's always stereotypical womanly or whatever, but it's got great storylines, and there's quite a few hot women in that show as well. But quite frankly, just try not to listen to too much of the liberal agenda because, they'll have you thinking that if you want to live as a chicken, go ahead and put feathers on you. Just like that story down in, I think it's Texas, where, the mother wants to give the 9-year-old hormone replacement surgery or hormone replacements and then have a surgery to make him a female, all because he liked the movie Frozen. The father is trying to fight for it. And the father actually lost the first appeal, which is complete ridiculousness in my opinion. And, to me that's child abuse. Now, let me put it, while I have no problem with people who make their own choice to change their bodies or their genetic makeup or whatever, I get that. It is not ever okay to force it on children. Children don't go through phases. Okay, children will go through phases and they'll come out in front of after it as a normal, quote unquote, normal human being, like it never happened. Do not force stuff like that on children. Okay, have informed conversations with them, but not to the point where you're trying to push them into one way or another. Okay, to me that's child abuse. But okay, so. Like I said, thank you for listening. Thank you for downloading it. Go ahead and subscribe to my show. Leave me a 5-star review on iTunes. And follow me on Twitter at @VApicella_SWE. Sportswire is at Sportswire Audio on Twitter and Instagram. SportswireAudio@gmail.com and www.sportswireaudio.com. For all intents and purposes, that's the end of the show today. I'll be back tomorrow right here on the Sportswire.